Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and I welcome all the participants for today's program. Today we are celebrating World Environment Day. Uh, this year's theme is "We have only one Earth." Is the theme of 2022. World Environment Day is being celebrated since 1974. In 1972, Stockholm Declaration on Environment and other related issues, they have adopted established in the UN General Assembly to celebrate the World Environment Day to protect the environment of the earth. In this connection, every year we are celebrating, and this year also Institute of Forest Biodiversity is celebrating World Environment Day. In this connection, and we are organizing various programs. And yesterday, uh, we have conducted some essay writing competitions also. And tomorrow we are organizing some plantation drive in our campus. And today, I invite all of you uh, to participate in this program. If any of our scientists or staff wish to speak on a World Environment Day, you are welcome to speak. Anybody, please? Any speaker? Am I audible? Yeah. If I am audible, if any speaker is there, then I will invite. We are happy to invite him to speak, to express his views. We are giving chance to everybody to tell their opinion, tell their ideas, and that, if they want to speak anything, they can speak. Anybody, any willing speaker? Any volunteer? Okay, then in this connection, I will speak in connection with World Environment Day, and we have only one Earth in the universe. There are many galaxies. Our Milky Way galaxy is also one of the galaxies in the universe. Like that, our Milky Way galaxy, there are billions of galaxies are there. Each galaxy is having many planetary systems, out of which our solar system having 10 planets is one of the planetary system. Like that, billions of planetary systems are there with stars and revolving planets. In our Milky Galaxy also, there are such billions of planets are there revolving around the stars. Our sun is the biggest star, and 9 planets or 10 planets are rotated around the sun. But we have only one Earth. But there may be many planets like our Earth, which may be suitable for habitation of or conducive for life, but we don't know. Man has so far not discovered any life on any other planet in solar system. In other galaxies, there may be such Earth-like planets may be existing, having life, but it is very difficult to reach those planets. But man is living on Earth only. We have only one Earth having life, and if at all any such other planet is there, but it is very difficult to reach there. With this context, we have to protect our mother earth so that the existence of life on earth will be possible. Earth is one and having the unique atmosphere, unique features, unique temperature, which only facilitate life. And life has evolved on Earth, evolving since billions of years. And man has evolved recently, and the Earth is facing many problems. And we have to safeguard our Earth. In this connection only, we are celebrating World Environment Day. And we have to make aware of everybody to protect our Mother Earth from various environmental problems. As you know, today we are facing many environmental problems which are degrading our earth, so that which is causing threatening existence of life on our earth. And the major environmental problems are air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, oceanic pollution, atmospheric pollution. Apart from pollution, there are other major issues, and the fossil fuels are being burnt. Fossil fuels means, as you know, petroleum products, coal. These are the fossil fuels, and energy is essential for any development of man, for industries or other purposes. Because of burning of fossil fuels, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides are released into atmosphere, and other gases like methane are also released into atmosphere. These are the greenhouse gases which are causing global warming. Global warming is a phenomenon. The earth's temperature is being increased because these greenhouse gases form a blanket and prevent radiation of heat from the earth's surface, hence causing global warming. Global warming is threatening our wildlife, our forests, and there is a massive area of snow ice is being melted in polar regions like Arctic and Antarctic areas, which is causing rise in sea levels. Rise in sea levels is a major problem, because of which many coastal areas are being submerged and coastal ecosystems are being destroyed. Coastal biodiversity is also being lost. And apart from that, because of this global warming effect, erratic rainfall, desertification, and extinction of wild flora and fauna is being affected. With this view, the global warming has to be contained, and burning of fossil fuels has to be restricted. With this, apart from this, because of these chlorofluorocarbons released into atmosphere from various industries and refrigeration industries and other reasons, ozone layer is also being depleted, causing UV radiation, which is also threatening wildlife and our biodiversity. Apart from that, environmental pollution is a major problem in many cities and towns because of vehicular pollution, causing various health hazards to human beings as well as wild plants and animals. And crops are also being affected because of acid rain and other environmental problems. Apart from air pollution, we are facing land pollution also. Nowadays, in many cities, waste disposal is a major problem. Wastes are generated from industries, households, and this waste disposal is a major problem. And especially the solid waste, sewage waste disposal is a major problem in many cities and towns. Solid waste is being dumped everywhere and causing lot of health hazards and environmental hazards. Land is being polluted, groundwater is being polluted. Hence, the solid waste disposal has to be properly managed. Apart from solid waste, medical waste, industrial solids, chemicals have to be disposed properly, which are threatening the our land as well as groundwater as well as our ecosystems, and the wild flora and fauna is also being affected by these solid wastes also. Apart from that, industrial sewage, domestic sewage is being released into our natural ponds, lakes and rivers, which is causing environmental pollution in the river water pollution, and fresh water bodies are all being polluted. Apart from freshwater bodies, our coastal regions are also being polluted by industrial sewage as domestic sewage, and there is a need to treat effluents properly to protect our rivers and lakes and coastal areas. Apart from this, land pollution, air pollution, and other environmental problems are also threatening our Mother Earth, like vast depletion of our natural resources, especially forests are destroyed on large scale, which is also responsible for global warming. And our biodiversity is also threatened because of destruction of our forests. Hence, there is need to conserve our forests and biodiversity to safeguard our earth, Mother Earth. In this connection, we can't to separate economic development from our ecosystem. Economic In economics, we study that if we use resources, we can develop it. But by using resources, not only resources are depleted and goods are generated, but wastes are also generated. These wastes are causing negative externalities, which are not accounted properly. Only economists accounts only the value of goods and services, and the negative externalities, their damage is not assessed. These negative externalities are have to be accounted into economics so that their problem can be addressed. Negative externalities are this, as we are talking, industrial sewage, effluents, poisonous gases, waste gases, all these cause negative externalities, causing extra health hazards, and we have to invest a lot of money on our medical treatment. This is a negative externalities, and nobody will pay for it. And because of industrial pollutants, sewage, rivers, coastal ecosystems are damaged. Our biodiversity is threatened. For this, no no industry is paying for these negative externalities. And to contain these negative externalities, we have to grow more forests. We have to bring more area into tree cover and forest, which are the sink for uh, atmospheric pollutants, as well as the sink for many solid waste, industrial effluents, and especially to prevent global warming, we have to increase our tree cover, and carbon dioxide levels are reduced, and these trees or forests, they produce positive externalities. Whatever negative externalities are generated by industries by releasing effluents, pollutants, and these are neutralized by our forests and trees, which absorb carbon dioxide and other wastes and reduce their effect of negative externalities. and these they cause positive externalities. And detailed study has to be made the positive externalities that are being generated by forests and trees. And in order to contain effects of pollution, various laws are made in India. Water Pollution Act was also made, Air Pollution Act was also made in 1974. Water Pollution Act was made, Air Pollution Act was made, and Environmental Protection Act is the important act which has been enacted in 1986. Apart for containing pollution, air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, and other address other environmental problems, Environmental Protection Act 1986 has been enacted. These are pollution related acts to safeguard our environment. Apart from that, to conserve our biodiversity, forests, and wildlife, we have enacted Indian Forest Act 1927, Wildlife Protection Act 1972, Forest Conservation Act 1980, and Biodiversity Act 2002, and many such acts are there to contain pollution and protect our biodiversity. Apart from that, many judgments have been given by our Supreme Court and High Courts. Many directions were given. Many principles or many other guidances were given by advices were given by Supreme Court, which are binding on us. And fundamental duties also, 52A is the fundamental duty mentioned in our Indian Constitution, which mentions that every citizen has to protect our natural environment, lakes, forests, and must be compassionate, and one must love animals, biodiversity, plants, and one should not destroy the environment. That is the fundamental duty of enshrined in the Constitution. And apart from that, Article 21, right to life, is also threatened by polluting environment, by polluting water, by polluting land, by causing air pollution. Right to safe life is also threatened. Hence, fundamental right is also affected by causing pollution, like what the Bhopal gas tragedy, which has caused many casualties, many have lost lives, and health of many generations have also been affected, and which has affected the right to life of many people. And the major doctrines made by Supreme Court include polluter pays principle. What polluter pays principle says, whatever pollution is caused by any industry, any person, any other agency, whichever is causing any pollution, any type of pollution, or any natural hazard, or any destruction to nature or wildlife or forest or natural ecosystem, they have to compensate for it. They have to pay for the loss. That is the doctrine of pollution. Polluter pays principle says. This is enshrined by Supreme Court in some Mehta case. And apart from polluter pays principle, precautionary principle is also one of the doctrine of Supreme Court. In precautionary principle, what Supreme Court said, even though nobody is causing pollution, if there is a threat of pollution, if there is a threat of environmental threat, or if there is a threat for any wildlife, if there is a threat for forest or natural ecosystem, or threat for human lives, or there is a threat of posing danger by any hydroelectricity project or any chemical factory which may cause any hazard in future, in that case the precautionary principle says that the person or agency or even government also, they have to take adequate precautions to prevent any natural hazard causing or threatening or endangering the lives of human beings, animals, wildlife, forests, or even agriculture ecosystems or natural resources like rivers or may cause pollution, they have to take adequate precautions, including treatment plants. They have to establish they have to establish filters of gases and many uh, advices have been made by this water act, air act. Also they mentions that all water or industrial chemicals, effluents or industrial gases have to be disposed safely, or they have to be released into the atmosphere or environment after treatment. Like that, treatment plants are a mandatory for any chemical factory or polluting factory, or even for a hydroelectric project also. If there is a any danger of any breach of that project, they have to take adequate safeguards. This is the precautionary principle says. Precautionary principle doctrine. Apart from that, our natural resources are the public goods and they are accessible to everybody. And in public goods, what happens? Ownership is not clearly defined. All human beings are equally accessible to all public goods like roads, forests, parks, rivers, lakes, ponds. These are the common goods, common property resources, which everybody will access equally. And if there is a no clear cut ownership, people tend to use as much as possible. They want to get as much as possible from the common property resource. Or there is a chance of misuse also. Apart from use, even people will take more than they required, or they will destroy it also because it is not their own property. If it is a clear title is there, if clear ownership right is there, they will protect their property properly and they will manage their property properly. But in common property resources, there is a tragedy that there is a over exploitation. It was in tragedy of commons one article, one researcher, one naturalist written that wherever common grazing lands are there, the regeneration is poor. But wherever private ownership is there, the grasslands are well managed. That means if there is a clear ownership, then it is managed properly. But in common property resources also, considering this view, the Supreme Court has made public trusteeship doctrine. Public trusteeship. Trust means like a temple trust, but everybody will help in growth of the trust and nobody will take nothing from them. Even everybody will contribute to temple trust, temple undi. Everybody will contribute, but nobody will take from temple undi or temple trust. That is a public trustee doctorship. The trustees means they are the managers of the trust, but they don't take anything from the trust, but they will perpetuate the trust. They will help in growth of the trust, growth of the organization. Like that, public trusteeship doctorship too. That means we are all the public trustees for common property resources like our forests, lakes, common property resources, parks. We are all the trustees of natural resources or common property resources, which have to be safeguarded like trustees. That is the principle of public trusteeship doctrine enshrined by Supreme Court. Apart from these doctrines and legal provisions to safeguard our Mother Earth from pollution and other destructive effects, and there are many other notifications have been issued by Ministry of Environment and Forests. Like under Section 3 of Environment Protection Act, many rules have been made, like coastal zone regulation management rules are made under Section 3 of Environment Protection Act. Under coastal regulation zone management rules, up to 500 meters It is prohibited to construct any house, industry, or anything near to a coast. That they are prohibited up to 500 meters from high tide line under coastal. And for managing this, coastal zone management authority has been formed, drawing officers from all other departments, many other departments. Coastal zone management authority is also being formed. This is a enforcement and regulatory agency established under Environment Protection Act. Apart from that, solid waste management rules have been made under Section 3 of Environment Protection Act. Solid waste management rules, they prescribe to municipalities and towns and other agencies for they have prescribed all the rules for disposal of solid wastes by industries or municipalities or households. And solid wastes have to be disposed properly and at properly demarcated places and should not be thrown anywhere as per the solid waste management rules. And medical waste has to be separately dealt with and separately destroyed. Medical waste has to be separately collected and separately treated and destroyed, disposed. And they should not be mixed with household solid waste or other solid waste. And chemical factories, they have to dispose their solid waste separately. Apart from solid waste, sewage disposal rules have been made, and treatment plants have been made. Apart from that, even nowadays, forest diversion is a major problem. Many development projects are coming up, and development is essential, and there should be a balance should be established between development and environmental safeguards. That's why cost benefit analysis is a must. For any project, for commissioning, cost benefit analysis is essential. If costs are more than benefits, then the project is not viable and there is a no trade-off between costs and benefits. Hence, such projects are rejected straight away, and no environmental clearance will be given to such projects when costs are more than benefits. If there are more benefits, the projects are then only considered. If there are more environmental problems, more environmental threats, they can compensate to certain extent. For if the land is diverted, double the area will be planted, or same area will be given somewhere else if forest land is diverted. That is compensatory afforestation is a mandatory as per Forest Conservation Act. And apart from that, major polluting industries, hydroelectric projects, or other industries, there is environmental impact assessment is also a must. Environment impact assessment rules have been made under Section 3 of Environment Protection Act. Environmental impact assessment rules have been made, and nowadays environmental impact assessment has to be done from a reputed institution like ICFRE. Many organizations like Singareni coal mines, mining projects, or major industries, iron and steel industries, coal mines, iron ore mines, bauxite mines, and hydroelectric projects. Many such thermal power projects, nuclear power plants, any such bigger projects, they must to do cost benefit analysis as well as environmental impact assessment has to be done to safeguard the earth and protect from environmental hazards and environmental pollution and other effects. And taking after taking all these precautions also, but there is a resources are limited, but demand for goods and services is ever increasing. Resources are limited, but natural resources are very limited, and these resources will, after a certain time, and they will be lost, and they will become almost some of the petroleum products, coal, and minerals, and after mining, they are going to new mines also. They are inventing new mines and they are extracting petroleum products. But ours is a country where petroleum products are very limited in northeastern region. We have to import fossil fuels, and we have coal reserves, iron reserves, but these resources will become extinct. And after these resources, even though their quantity will be depleted, their resources are depleted after a certain point of time, but their extraction isolation also releases many residues, many wastes. That is also a problem. In mining areas, a lot of forest areas are being destroyed, and their regeneration is a major problem. And proper mechanism has to be done. Mining rules also prescribes how to be mined, and how to reclamation of mined sites is also a important aspect to safeguard our earth. And the mining areas, mine debris, mine wastes have to be disposed properly, and mined out areas have to be properly rehabilitated by planting suitable species. And where our role is crucial, institute like our role, and we have to devise proper mechanisms, proper protocols for rehabilitation of our mined out areas, and to reduce or minimize the negative externalities caused by mines and other major industrial projects. And rehabilitation of people is also important. Biodiversity extinction is a major problem. Under Wildlife Protection Act, in nature and in national parks and sanctuary areas, no project is allowed. In national project nothing is allowed, sanctuary areas nothing is allowed, even except for linear uh, electric lines or cables, or sometimes railway lines may be allowed, but in national park sanctuary areas these projects are not allowed. Any mining projects is not allowed, hydroelectric projects is not allowed. And if any land has to be diverted in national park area, Supreme Court permission is also essential. After state wildlife board, national wildlife board have to be given permission in for taking up any project in sanctuary area or national park area. State board for wildlife has to recommend. If state board for wildlife recommends, then national board for wildlife also has to agree. Then if national board for wildlife also agrees for that project, if it is genuine and essential, then Supreme Court has to also give permission. Then only the project can be taken up. Such a stringent provision is there in Wildlife Protection Act for commissioning any project in national park or sanctuary areas. Apart from that, even the resource management is essential. Resources are depleted, and many economists, the environmental economics is an important burning area where resource management economics is important. Economy is not separate from environment. Environment includes society as well as economy. Ecology, we have one earth only, we have to consider whole earth as one unit. And considering this, environment cannot be separated for economics, ecology cannot be separated from economics, because resources are coming up from nature only. All resources have to come from nature only. And this circular economy is also in ecosystem. There is a recycling is there in natural ecosystem. When oceanic ecosystem or forest ecosystem or grassland ecosystem, you must have studied in ecology, the resources are recycled. One, the any animals, primary producer to primary consumers, consumers to secondary consumers, secondary consumer to tertiary consumers. Once the tertiary consumers, once the animals die or trees die, they will be recycled into the earth only, where detritus organisms or microorganisms destroy the dead animals and recycle the dead plants and animals into the soil only, so that the ecosystem will sustain and nothing is taken out of ecosystem. Any cycle, nothing is taken out. Even laws of thermodynamics also says the same thing. Energy or matter cannot be produced or destroyed in a system. Energy will remain same, energy and matter will remain same, but one form to other it will change. In an ecosystem, energy is transferred or matter is transferred from one level to other level, producer to consumers, consumer, primary consumer to secondary consumers to tertiary consumers. And when tertiary consumers, when all are died, they will be recycled. Matter is recycled into the soil, and the energy is of the ecosystem is maintained and fulfilling the thermodynamics principles. But in industrial ecosystem it is not like that. Resources are this raw materials are obtained from natural environment by mining, or from natural forests, or from agriculture ecosystems, and they will be produced into goods. Goods are consumed, and then, and in this process, in industrial process, not like in a natural ecosystem, residues are produced. The residues are pollutants here. They are causing external negative externalities, or pollution they are causing, and the pollution effects have to be regulated. Then for fulfilling the principles of thermodynamics, and how these residues can be recycled or reused, that is the major problem now. And the research area needs attention in these areas: how to reduce pollutants, how to recycle the wastes, how waste can be used somewhere without destroying the nature, without dumping in the natural environment. And the resource economics has to be integrated to ecology, ecosystem economics. And apart from that, and recycling is an important thing. Nowadays the concept of circular economy has come. In circular economy, all the used goods have to be recycled. Like waste paper, now they are recycling. Nowadays the plastic pollution is a major problem. Plastics, and they remain in soil for hundreds of years. They cannot be destroyed in soil, and they are causing yes, not only plastics, the electronic goods, electrical equipments, electronic goods, and they are not non-biodegradable, and they will remain in soil, and they will pose environmental problems, soil pollution, and many other. And especially the polythene and plastic, and these products, they have to be recycled. And should be a proper mechanism to safeguard our earth and environment. Recycling is an important concept, so that the earth can be protected, and resources cannot be wasted, and they will be recycled. Not only plastics, the mineral resources should not be wasted. The minerals are also limited in our earth, and their extraction also involves many costs and negative externalities. And these mineral resources, and they will be extracted. They are essential for industries, automobiles, and other plants, metals, and they should be recycled properly. They, like iron and other metals, copper, they must be properly recycled, so that the wastes can be minimized, residues can be minimized, and there will be less pressure on our natural mines and natural resources. And there are conventional and non-conventional energy resources. Nowadays we are depleting our conventional energy resources. That means the fossil fuels we were using, causing environmental pollution. There is a scope for development of non-conventional energy resources. The focus nowadays is on non-conventional energy resources. The non-conventional energy resources, or hydroelectricity is also a non-conventional or renewable energy resource. Nowadays, the solar energy is also being commissioned by in many states, and alternate fuels like hydrogen fuel or other alternate fuels. There is a stress nowadays. Battery operated cars are also being commissioned, so that the use of fossil fuels will be minimized, environmental pollution can be reduced, and there will be less depletion of fossil reserves. The reserve energy resources have to be protected for future generations. Here comes the equity principle. Equity means intergenerational, not only intragenerational equity, but intergenerational equity has to be maintained. Intragenerational equity means equity among all sections of people. In some countries, they are using, if per capita energy consumption in Europe or America is more than in India. India per capita energy consumption is very less. This is not equity. There should be proper equity should be maintained in use of natural resources. Equity. This is intragenerational equity. And apart from intergenerational equity, if we our generation itself uses all the resources, what our future generation will use? There should be intergenerational equity also. For intergenerational equity, we have to use our resources judiciously. Our resources are limited. We have to recycle whatever resources we have used and minimize the wastes, and we have to conserve the resources for maintaining the intergenerational equity. Whatever our generations have used, our future generations have also have to use the same resources without depleting their quality, whether or quantity. And same quantity of forest resources, same quantity of mineral resources, same quality of all natural resources should be available for all generations. This is the concept of intergenerational equity. Intergenerational equity, for maintaining intergenerational equity, we have to conserve our resources, not only natural resources, biological resources, mineral resources, or our environmental quality has also to be maintained properly. If there is global warming, the quality of the environment is affected. The pure air they may not get what our forefathers are getting, such a quality environment we are not getting, and still we are degrading, and that is causing environmental pollution, and our future generations have to use cylinders for even for oxygen also. That should not arise. For that reason, we have to conserve our resources and reduce pollution and minimize the wastes and recycle the wastes, so that the intergenerational equity can be maintained. Apart from this, to safeguard our Mother Earth, their sustainable models have to be followed. In sustainable models, not only in forestry resources, but in agriculture also, sustainable models have to be adopted. Sustainable agriculture methods have to be followed. High yielding varieties are important, which can reduce. We have to use or minimize the chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides. They are causing the environmental pollution of lakes, ponds, and others, and degrading the quality of the earth and soil also. And natural or organic farming methods are the good for conserving our soils and our agriculture systems making sustainable and viable. And the condition or quality or nature of the soils should not be destroyed. The soil condition should be maintained, and organic farming is one of the best method of. And forests are the good source. They recycle their minerals on their own. Forest soils are rich in nutrients. Like that, our agriculture soil should also maintain our nutritional status of our soils. And for this, the catchment areas of rivers are have to be protected. There is a vast soil is being destroyed. Soil erosion is a major problem, not only in many areas, riverine areas, because of loss of catchment areas. Destruction of forests in catchment areas is causing for this soil erosion, and lot of soil is being taken into sea and dumped into the sea. And you see the coral areas are being destroyed because of deposition of debris, and that should not happen. The soil has to be protected. If soil is protected, agriculture is also improved, and the siltation in lakes has to be prevented. For the prevention of siltation in lakes, the water holding capacity of the hydroelectric projects and lakes, tanks is being reduced year by year. That's why some of the State governments like Telangana government, they have taken up Mission Kakatiya program. Under this, all the tanks and lakes are being dug out because the siltation is removed. Because since many years there is a siltation in tanks and their water holding capacity has been reduced. For preventing siltation in tanks, lakes, and rivers, and loss of soil and prevention of soil erosion, we have to protect our catchment areas of rivers, and we have to grow more forest areas. That's why the for sustainable management from the forest prescribes for any felling of trees along the rivers or catchment areas is prohibited, so that the soil erosion will be prevented. If there is a sufficient leaf litter in forest areas, if sufficient tree cover is there, the flow of rainwater is reduced, and water holding capacity of forest areas is retained. Forest rainwater is percolated and groundwater is recharged. If there is a sufficient tree cover, forest cover, groundwater recharging is also possible. If the earth is polluted, there is no tree cover, and rainwater harvesting, there is no rainwater is being recharged into the ground. Groundwater is being depleted every year, and water table is going down and down. In order to maintain our groundwater table properly, not only for agriculture, in cities and towns also, the groundwater table is depleted, and many borewells dry up during summer. And there is essential to take up these groundwater recharging, especially in towns and cities. We have to promote rainwater harvesting structures. Now it is mandatory in many municipal areas. As per municipal laws, the groundwater recharging is essential. Every society or housing colony and even individual houses also, they have to make a groundwater harvesting structure so that their borewell can be recharged. Groundwater cannot be depleted, and everybody using ground borewells deep and deep, going down and down. But water table is also going down and down, and after certain time the borewell will die up because there won't be any water on the ground, because the internal crust area of the earth, so up to certain limit only water groundwater table will be there, and afterwards there will be bedrock will be there. There won't be any water. Even if we dig deep inside also, groundwater is not available. For that reason, we have to protect our catchment areas in our forest areas, not only in forest areas, in our villages, towns, and other community areas. We have to grow more trees, not only for environmental protection, environmental aesthetic sense, and reducing environmental pollution and reducing global warming, but also for groundwater recharging, it is essential. And for prevention of soil erosion, we have to protect our catchment areas. Uh, and for that, sustainable agriculture and sustainable forest management, even in coastal areas and where in lakes and ponds, where forest cover is good, the biodiversity is also more. The water rivers carrying leaf litter, they will take into sea, and the fish catch will be more. The fishermen's livelihoods are dependent on fishing in coastal areas, and if there is no leaf litter carried by rivers, the fish catch is also being reduced in oceans, because if more leaf litter goes into river, it will be carried into coastal areas sea, and the planktons will grow on this leaf litter in lakes and ponds, not only in coastal areas also. Leaf litter is essential, and they are the source of minerals also. The leaf litter facilitate the growth of phytoplanktons and zooplanktons. These planktons are essential for fish growth. Fish catch will be more available if plankton growth is more. But we should not be confused with this pollution in lakes. The water hyacinth is a major problem. That is because of excessive nutrients carried out by sewage. That is not a good sign. and this treated water has to be released into the lakes and ponds. And these environmental safeguards are protecting uh, our conserving our nature and mother earth, uh, uh, because we have only one earth. All these environmental problems we are discussing since in many fora, and today is also an occasion to see overview all these environmental issues and to chalk out our program to manage our resources in a better way, and to reduce our pollution and to protect our earth. Our only one earth, we have one earth we have to protect, because irrespective of the boundary or nation or political boundaries, we have to protect, because as a globe, many international conventions they mention to for reducing the pollution and safeguarding our biodiversity and protecting our mother earth, because the carbon credits are also given for the reducing global warming gases. And we are estimating our carbon stocks, like institute like ICF are working on carbon stocks, and the carbon credits are given, and we are fulfilling the international commitments. We are the signatory to many international UNFCC and Rio summit and other summits, and conference of parties is being held every 4 years in each country, and we are the signatory to international conventions. We have to it is binding on us to reduce carbon levels, but USA has not signed, but all many of the countries have signed to reduce the uh, carbon levels in the atmosphere. And development is also essential, uh, but one thing we have to consider, development is also essential. Many European countries, they are in the already industrialized. US is already industrialized. They have used resources like anything. Not only the resources from their country, from other countries also they have taken resources, mineral resources, coal and other all resources, all raw materials they have used, and they have developed their industries, and they have become a strong nations, industrialized countries. They have become strong economic economies like America, China, Japan, Britain, Germany. They are the strong economies. Ours is the sixth economy. Being a large country, ours should be the first economy in a economic sense. In terms of billions of rupees of economy, ours is seen is in sixth position economic worth in terms of GDP. But they are the industrialized countries. They export their goods to many countries and they earn money because they are the industrialized countries. Ours is not much industrialized. Ours is a subsistence economy based on agriculture. But now they are giving importance. They are reducing their pollution. Once the economic status of the people improves, they demand clean air, clean water, clean house, clean atmosphere, clean town, clean everything they want clean. But if the people are poor, their demands are different. They demand needs are only food, healthcare facilities, education. These are their basic requirements only. Food, shelter, and clothes. They are their basic requirements. But to one, people are developed economically. They demand for clean air, clean water, clean atmosphere, clean houses, so that India should also develop economically. India should also become economically strong economy, so that people this will cause naturally in developed countries the population is in declining stage. Ours is a developing country, the population is in growing, still growing, because healthcare facilities are less. People's priorities also different. Once the people are economically strong, they will go for small farm families, and the population will also come down naturally. And their priorities will change. They need clean air, clean water, and then the people will demand for protection of environment. Now they are taking care of their environmental issues once they have developed economically. But we are not yet developed economically strong. We are yet to develop our economy, and we have to definitely we have to increase our industrial production to reduce poverty, and this is also essential. But at the same time, we have to protect our natural resources. Here comes the judicious use of resources and sustainable use of our resources and safe environmental techniques we have to follow, adapt to safe and environment friendly techniques in our industries are essential. That's why under Water Pollution Act, Air Pollution Act, Central Pollution Control Boards, State Pollution Control Boards have been established. The Central Pollution Control Board, State Pollution Control Boards, what they are doing, they are surveying the industries, they are collecting samples from industries, and they are prescribing the guidelines and making guidelines and rules for the industries to reduce their pollutants, to analyze their pollutants, and they prescribe the conditions for treatment. And as per the pollution control board norms, the industries have to establish their treatment plants, and they have to reduce their, but the market will also take care. If we impose taxes, there is a chance of reducing pollutants. If we impose more taxes, there is a chance of some people will we will pay tax, green tax we will pay, and we will cause pollution. Some people tell that is the economic concept, green tax concept. Green tax, they will pay tax and they will pollute, that is a right to them, but will this solve the problem? No, definitely no. The clean technology have to be evolved. Green taxes will not. Certain extent they will reduce the because of this heavy cost of the taxes. They may industrialists hesitate to take up, but that is not a solution. But the imposing green tax is not a solution. But adopting clean technologies is a solution. For adopting clean technologies, they have to invest more money. They are using the only old outdated technology still now causing pollution. And if you keep on using old outdated technology, definitely there will be more waste of resources, more generation of pollutants, more residues. If they use advanced and safe technology, less pollution, but they have to invest more. For invest more, and because with this reason, then now government also facilitating foreign direct investment. If foreign investment comes, then they will bring new technology, new safer technologies, more advanced technologies they will bring. And developing countries also demanding we will reduce our carbon levels, but you give our clean technology, you give clean technology. But some countries have agreed, but many countries they are not agreed to give clean technology freely because they have patents. They are using clean technologies in their countries because already they are industrialized, they have economic strength, they can invest and on research and development, they can develop clean technologies, and they can patent their process and product. But developing countries like India, it is a major problem for adopting clean technologies. For this reason, um, our economy becomes strong, our foreign resources have to be improved, but foreign direct investment rules have been liberalized. Economy has been liberalized. We are getting foreign direct investment in our industries, industrial sector, all other sectors also. Even for this solar energy also, many countries they are investing in India for solar energy projects. This is a clean technology, no? For that, no resources are used, only natural resources, sunlight is used and produced energy is produced, power is produced. For thus to we can facilitate investors, those who come from other countries, and they can invest, and they can charge power, charge for power. This solar energy is a clean energy, like hydroelectric energy. For hydroelectric energy, we can't develop more, no? More hydroelectric projects we have to construct, but that depends on rainfall. But solar energy, that is not depending. In India, sunlight is available throughout the year, and we can invest in that. Government has no such large investments for investing in solar projects, but now it is facilitated that foreign investors can come and invest up to foreign direct investment rules. Up to 50% foreign investment can be taken in a private project also, private company, private firm also. They can get to 50% foreign investments also. This is the rule. And more they can promote more foreign investment also, so that clean technologies we will get to, so that pollution can be reduced. And we did not take loans from World Bank, and it is a business model, so that um, uh, the foreign investor can also invest in Indian companies. And apart from that, India also developing this. Uh, Many windmills are being established wherever wind energy is there. This is also a non-conventional energy source. And apart from that, too, the institutes like ICFR, they should focus on biofuels. Biofuels have to be developed. It is only a limited, since many years they are at the print at research level only. No large scale production is not being done. The biofuels are some of the areas, they have established biofuel. They have alcohol based biofuels. They are developing, but it is not they are not producing on large scale. But yeah, alcohol based or other biofuels have to be promoted, so that fossil fuels use can be reduced, industrial pollution can be uh, controlled. Uh, yeah, I'm covering all whatever I recollect. But now, if all of you permit, I will conclude. Once again, I will wish you all for joining our uh, today's World Environment Program celebration. And I thank all the participants, all the scientists, officers, and staff for joining this lecture. And thank you, everybody. Uh, Tomorrow we will have a plantation drive and essay writing competition. I invite you all to participate in plantation drive. And before that, I will invite if any enthusiastic speaker anything to suggest, or any express their views. Any scientist or staff or everybody, you are invited to speak. Otherwise, I will conclude today's program.
Thank you, sir, and good afternoon to all.
Thank you, Pankaj Singh.
And thank you for your this nice and detailed information, sir, for this World Environment Day. And my submission is only that nowadays all forest departments are focusing to plant this indigenous plant species only. So it is good for our biodiversity restoration purpose. And that is my submission on it. And that is okay, sir, from my
Okay,
side.
nice,
Thank you, sir.
nice suggestion, and thank you. Your suggestion is valid, and thank you. And uh, any other speaker, if they want to introduce, they can introduce. Okay, thank you, everybody. And today's session we will close, and tomorrow we will join. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We will close.